So right here we have a video of a FNAF1 420 mode where I beat it. This is a current previous attempt, but before the completed run. In the video we have my friend who beaten it 2 attempts earlier than I'd finished. He's just here to have company, and also we're beating the 420 modes together, so here we are.
You're just like, yep. Don't press it twice.
At this point, I did boot the
FNAF
nose of Freddy twice, and that's where
422 Electric Boogaloo
because this
win.
is a joke. Freddy at this time did wait quite a while before getting here, but then after that it just attacked pretty soon. So that's why this one failed.
Thing, you could get such a decent run, and then Freddy just goes, "You press the nose twice," and just destroys.
So we go on
just
to
like,
the attempt which I did finish the 420 mode. You'll see this in a second.
Hey, look, eyes. Wait, how are the eyes attached to anything? Oh god, that's disturbing. Just stop. I get it.
I was talking about the eye thing, but since I was using NVIDIA's record thing, it wasn't recording my voice, so you won't be able to hear my voice in this recording, but
at 96%,
you behave as he is because it's recording from the software, not my mic. So the basic strategy was that we go to camera 4B, which is in the right corner from our office. We'll keep flipping the camera when Freddy is there. But it also stops Foxy, because whenever the camera is being thrown up, Foxy does not attack.
Why are you like doing circles?
And then therefore,
Foxy
won't attack, Freddy won't come in because he's getting watched on the cameras. So then all that's left is
like a massive
Freddy and Chica. Chica, you can tell that she goes into the door because she goes in the corner where Freddy's in. She takes priority and gets shot first.
Full try-hard
and then when she disappears, you check the right door. But sometimes she can go to the door.
Technically, it takes 0.1
without going into the corner.
To click the light, which could be enough time.
Which is why I check it sometimes. But you can also hear Chica in the kitchen, so that puts out. And for Bonnie, you just keep checking the light.
What? The tiny bit of power is saving.
So that is basically the strategy for this. And you just repeat, and basically at the end it's just luck. That's why the previous one failed, because Freddy did not stay long enough.
But I did it. Eating out fine. I think
I do mess up most of the time.
I think you might have been checking the lights a bit too early for Bonnie.
Like with every
they'll come again. You could get more.
It's all down to luck, and mostly and skill at the same time, but mostly luck at the end.
It's 10:20. Yeah. So basically, whenever you try and wind the music box, you just immediately get pulled down.
At the moment, we're just talking about FNAF 2 and about how we're going to beat that, because
we could
we're going to try and beat all FNAF, all the FNAF games, but we're not really going to do the 20 mode for them, or every single one, but we'll try.
I don't think we're ready.
FNAF 1 is the one that you're going to do everything for, which you've already done.
Yeah.
So when Chica's at the corner, you don't have to check the door at all. You just only check it if Chica disappears, like I do this moment. There has to be constant camera checking a bit to keep Freddy away, because if you don't, then Freddy can attack you. When Bonnie's at the door, then when I put up the camera, that's by mistake. I do not want to do that. I just want to close the door immediately, but by reflex, for some reason, I just keep putting the camera up. That is entirely my fault if the run ends there. That's where it ends most of the time. completely my mistake. This one, I did have a couple runs of getting close to the end, and it was based on RNG by Freddy and his music box. And in this one, I got to the end, and Freddy was generous enough to let me win the game. I did keep hearing footsteps and then kept checking both the doors because I didn't, since the game does not have surround sound, meaning that you cannot tell which side it's from.
Yeah, it just depends when you take over the 3 now. I can't really tell.
And the only way you can tell which side it's definitely coming from is if Chica's in the kitchen, which is not always going to happen.
Or like 47, 48-ish.
At the time when you're doing this, the game can be quite stressful, but after rewatching it, it does become quite boring, which is a kind of a shame, but it's pretty much understandable because it's just someone flicking up and down the cameras and closing doors every once in a while. Like there. Well, sometimes they do a 2 thing like that. I closed the door without checking the light because I knew Chico would be gone because it was a long enough time, and since how the AI works, they would leave as soon as they possibly can because that's how the AI works at 20 mode. And that basically means after a fixed amount of time they will leave, and that fixed amount of time is definitely passed from when I close the door. Although it can be risky if you don't wait enough time. But I mostly knew that the time was over for that one. And also Chica's in the kitchen at this moment. But then she immediately left, which then got me checking the thing.
Like how they're just silent concentration.
No, it's been pretty much silent, but it's not really that much concentration, although it's kind of like you're not
in that, like,
playing around.
robotic state, aren't you? Where you're not concentrating, but you're not relaxed either, you're just existing.
Well, Ben just said it perfectly then. He's my friend. That's his thing. Sometimes when Chica goes to the corner, she like that. She sometimes does not go to the door, so you'd have to check it every once in a while because sometimes I'd be afraid that you're going to the door after a bit of not being at 4B. So it can get a bit paranoid over that. I did not check Foxy the entire night because of the camera flipping kind of made him not do anything, but at the end you kind of do have to cross your fingers and hope that he does not attack. Which can end runs.
4 AM, yeah, it's decent. Been on 4 AM for a bit, actually. Do what you think is right, honestly. I haven't been watching the situation that much. But, check for Chica, she might be at the window. So, just once it hits 5, basically. So just play the game like you are, until it hits 5, and then if it hits 5 but it's below 5%, don't do anything. But if it hits 5 and it's over 5%, keep on playing until it's below, because Foxy will leave if it's above 5%, because you just don't look at the cameras for long enough. So I would say about 3% is where you just don't touch anything. Right, so you've got 3% to play the game normally. This is actually a really good run. You've got 6% by the which is really good. So once Bonnie leaves, just don't do anything. Open the door, just don't do anything. Alright. And just hope
and then at this point we just we stopped
from
at this point we just stopped from doing anything just to save that tiny bit of power, and you just hope that the Foxy won't attack. Ben, just stay muted for a tiny bit longer, please.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I didn't know what you were doing. You didn't Foxy, just please. Right.
At this point, it becomes, it's just RNG at this point.
Gosh, don't you
and Freddy was being very generous at this moment. Just giving us way too much time. But we ended up doing it. Like, just barely doing it. You can see, right?
No,
The song goes on for quite a bit of time.
Don't interrupt the man's song.
And this is where tension goes really high, just before Freddy attacks, but then, soon, not long after, you hear the chimes of 6
Yes!
a.m.
That was like basically my run, but again, you just get super lucky at the end. You got fired. Are you happy that you got fired?
So yeah, that's run to its completion, and I really enjoyed doing it. It was also a really good challenge. And there's the 3 stars.
No, we never actually touched
Ruin
it
my
again.
channel.